I am the law. I am the law. Alien! I am Ivan Drago, I don't care if my outfit changed. Drago, you're going down. Yeah. Nobody can stop me.
Join the Nintendo Fan Club today.
I am the law. Warning, the following movie review is rated R for retarded. In a world full of crime, corruption, and destruction, one man decides to review movies. This is Devil Dog at the Movies. Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with a movie review. I just got back from seeing Creed 2, the sequel to Creed 1? Rocky 7? I'm not sure which one in the numbered series this is, but considered Creed was like a spin-off of the Rocky series. In the end, I'll have to say this. When I got there to the theater, it was jam-packed. Of course, it is a holiday season. But there was an awful lot of young people and little kids going to see this movie, which this is not a kind of movie I expected to see a bunch of young kids and little kids going to see. But beyond that, I would have to say that, Wreck-It Ralph 2 had more kids in it than this. But still, nonetheless, it was kind of odd. This movie is over 2 hours long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my basic synopsis of what I felt of the movie, if it was good or not, and then I'm going to go into spoilers where I'm going to give the basic plot. Started off, I'll have to say this movie is very slow-paced, but not boring. It does a very, very good job of actually establishing the characters from the last movie and carrying them through this adventure. And, in layman's terms, basically what happens is, you have the return of, Ivan Drago with his son Victor, pretty much coming to take back and beat up, Adonis Creed in this. Honestly, the performances of all the acting was very well done. The cinematography was very well done. The only issue I have with this movie is the fact that the pacing of it has a lot of slow parts to it. And for how long the movie is, they could have cut several of the parts out and just got straight to the nitty gritty, which is the fights, But, in the end, it is actually a good movie, and I can actually recommend see it. If you liked Creed, you will like Creed 2. It does a fantastic job of bringing back the nostalgia of the classic character of Ivan Drago, and of course Rocky Balboa. You can't go wrong with it. Honestly, as long as you like the other movie Creed and you like the original Rocky series, I would actually say, this is a really good movie. It's just really long. Just keep that in mind. At like over 2 hours long, it's a bit on the lengthy side. But it does tell a great story. It has sad moments. It has a little bit of comedy in it. And it has some really dramatic moments. And, of course, a classic, good old Rocky-style finish. Now, from this point on is spoilers. If you don't want the movie spoiled to you, I'm not going to go into major details with this movie. But I am going to give you a rough plot synopsis from start to finish of basically what happens. So you can still go see this movie after I tell you this, and it's not really going to ruin the movie for you, because there's going to be a lot of parts I'm not going to get into detail with, just because. Basically, as this movie starts out, Adonis Creed finally gets to go and fight against the current heavyweight champion. He actually beats him and becomes the new world heavyweight champion. But because of this, he still doesn't feel like his life is fulfilled for whatever reason. Even though he's the champion, he's still struggling with the fact that it hasn't really made a big impact on him. He just didn't really, change that much. But he's happy that he's won. He's got the belt. Rocky's happy for him. And he decides to propose to his girlfriend, who is a famous singer in the movie, who's deaf. And he finally proposes to her, and, they go and get married. And as the movie progresses, they find out that she pretty much gets pregnant. Now, as that's going on, it also flashes back to the fact that Rocky still is struggling with the fact he hasn't went to see his son. For whatever reason, he has not went to see his son in a long time. His son now has a child of his own, and he's still fighting with the fact, hasn't seen them in God knows how long. And, so he's got some mental turmoil there, struggling with every time he'll go to try to pick up the phone and call, he just can't bring himself to do it yet. And he's still running his, Adrian's pasta shop, or whatever it is, an Italian restaurant. Well, at this time, you have Victor Drago training his son, Ivan Drago, for a very, very heartfelt reason. I mean, the original Ivan Drago was just out to kill Stallone, and stuff. But in this, because of his failure to beat Rocky a long time ago, his whole family was pretty much ostracized, and he has no one likes him. Okay, he had no respect. People pretty much disrespected him and hated him. His wife left him, and he's old and grizzled, and he's just a mess anymore. So he's training his son to become a great boxer, and wants his son to fight Adonis Creed, Apollo Creed's son, not really for revenge or anything like that, but just so he can get his honor back for his family and his son, so the people of Russia would actually have some respect for him. So even though he's the bad guy character, and his son is too, Victor Drago, you kind of feel bad for him, because you realize they're not doing it out of spite or revenge. They're doing it basically because he feels that he has no respect from Russia anymore. His wife left him, and he just wanted to try to get everything back and fix it. So they pretty much go to America and call out, Adonis Creed, saying, "Hey, fight me." So Adonis Creed decides to fight him, but he's super cocky, and Rocky's warning him. It's like, listen, he's taller than you, he's bigger than you. I'm not saying that you can't beat him. I'm just saying you have a life in front of you. You have a wife now. You have an unborn child, a child on the way. You need to think of your priorities and just let it go, And he can't do that. He, for whatever reason, he's like, almost like the revenge factor. Say, hey, his father killed my father. This is my chance to pretty much get revenge for what happened. And Rocky's like, listen, man, you just got to let it go. It's not worth it. And he's like, well, I'm going to fight him nonetheless. And Rocky's like, I'm not going to be by your side for this. I'm not going to be the one there to throw in the towel. So Rocky walks away and leaves him. It pisses him off, but he's like, fine. So he goes back to his gym and starts training with the guy there to actually fight Victor Drago. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because his wife, basically Adonis Creed's wife, who's pregnant, since she's deaf, they were actually worried. They're like, well, what if the baby is born deaf? This is hereditary. The baby might be born deaf. And they're like, so he's worried about that. And, so he's got that on his mind, and his wife doesn't want him to fight, but he goes ahead and does it anyway. And he gets his ass kicked. he almost, he doesn't get killed or nothing, but he gets like ruptured internal organs, cracked, broken orbital bones, broken ribs. I mean, Victor Drago beats the living crap out of Adonis Creed, and it makes it to where he goes into a depression. He doesn't want to fight no more. He's like, I've lost the will to fight. I just don't feel it no more. That the voice that would keep me to box is just not there no more. But the only reason why Victor Drago did not win the belt as the championship is because when Adonis Creed fell, he hit him while he was on the ground, and they disqualified him for it. So that's the only reason why Victor Drago did not win. So they said it was a disqualification. So Victor Drago and Ivan Drago go off and they start training, and they're pushing for a rematch with him. And of course, this is where it gets into the movie where they finally Adonis Creed, his wife gives birth to the baby, and it's a really sad moment. They find out the baby does have, a total lack of hearing. It's totally deaf. So he's struggling with that. He's struggling with his depression, healing up with all his injuries. That takes him a long time. And then he finally decides, he's like, you know what, I gotta fight him again. Not to get revenge for my father. Not for anyone else. Basically for me, for the right thing. I have to actually fight him again. Because they say if he doesn't fight somebody soon, he's going to have to vacate his title belt. So, he gets back and, I think his mother actually contacts Rocky, has Rocky show up at his house, and they have a really heartfelt moment where they talk. And he decides, like, listen, if you're going to fight him again, you cannot win with the way you fight. We're going to have to teach you a different way to fight. He's bigger than you. He's stronger than you. Your way you fight is not going to work for this battle. You've got to learn a different way to battle him. So it goes into the classic Rocky montage, because the way the second fight's going to go, not only is he put the title on the line, but they got to have it in Russia. That was the stipulation. So kind of like the classic Rocky movie, this is a relapse of pretty much the same version where they got to fight in Russia. So Rocky decides for this montage, okay, we're going to train you, but he takes him out to this place in the desert where fighters who have lost their will to fight pretty much relearn how to fight and become the great boxers that they used to be. And they beat the crap out of him. They got him running through the desert to where he's passing out from the heat. They got him using a sledgehammer in the dirt to train, boxing other people while staying with his foot in a tire with the other boxer. And as it progresses, they're hitting him in the chest real hard with weights and wheels and stuff like that to build his strength up for his ribs where he'd gotten broken. And eventually it's classic Rocky montage. He learns all this stuff. He becomes a badass where he's even running faster than the car. And then they go to the big Shazam that's in Russia. And it goes on for quite a while. At first you think that Victor Drago's going to beat him. I mean, he's like really working him over. Breaks his ribs again, and Rocky's like, "Hey, man, he's gonna keep going for your ribs, but we've got something better than him. You got more than heart. You like the pain. You're gonna use the pain to your advantage to beat him." And so basically, he comes back, starts beating the crap out of Victor, and as he's finally starting to weaken Victor down, you can actually see that the Russians, like the wife, the ex-wife of Ivan Drago, gets up and leaves again, and Ivan's over there, and he's got this really kind of depressed look on his face because he knows that his son is not going to win. He knows that his son's going to lose this fight. And, you got Adonis Creed just beating the crap out of him, and it gets to the point to where Ivan Drago is like, no more. He throws the towel in and ends the fight. His son's upset and crying, but he goes over and he hugs him, and he's like, "It's all right, son. It's all right." And so Adonis Creed wins. He retains his belts. He wins. And the final scene of the movie has him going to the grave of his father, Apollo Creed. talking to him, saying, "Dad, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you in a while. A lot of things happen. I didn't do this for you. I didn't do it for Rocky. I did it for me. And, here's my daughter." And this was a sad moment. They come up, the wife comes up with the baby, and you see the baby has 2 hearing aids in because the baby's completely deaf, which was kind of sad but heartfelt. And then they cut back to Rocky, who not only finally, he doesn't call, but he actually shows up at the doorstep of his son, and he talks with him and meets his son, and his son's like, "Well, that's your grandfather," and it's like, "Do you want to come in?" He goes in and they hug, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. So it's a real heartfelt movie from start to finish. Really good cinematography, a really well done movie. Too damn long though. It's too damn long, but it's got a lot of character development to where Adonis Creed, the guy who plays him, is a fantastic actor. I mean, he's got his highs and lows. You honestly feel so bad for the guy when he's down on his luck. You feel bad for his wife. You're rooting for Rocky to get back together with his son, and you're so happy when they actually do. It's really kind of sad. And you even feel bad for Ivan Drago and his son Victor, because even though they're the bad guys in this movie, honestly, that's not really the reason. The reason why they were fighting was kind of an honorable reason. They just wanted to get the respect back from the Russians, so people wouldn't pretty much snub their nose at them and give them the respect that they deserve. And the final scene you see of Ivan and Victor is they're both running training together. And in the end, I would have to say this is a damn good movie. The only problems I have with it is it's a very good movie from start to finish. The editing is well done. The pacing is the problem. The pacing is way too damn slow, and the movie is over 2 hours long. They could have sped some stuff up, cut some parts out, and it would not have affected this movie at all. That's the only nitpick I can say with this movie, was the fact that it's too damn long. But in the end, I would say if you were a fan of the original Rocky movies, and if you like Creed, I guarantee you will love Creed 2. Go and see it. You won't be disappointed, other than the fact it's a really long movie. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank everybody who subscribes to my channel. I want to say thank you for everyone that leaves a comment below. That's always helpful. I love comments. I love responding back to each and every one of you personally. Please hit that bell icon so you can stay up to date when I release new videos. And I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.